Did you have big Sunday dinners, like as a family, or no?
Oh, yes. Sure we did. Always big ones.
What would you have?
We would have sauerkraut and a Hungarian dish.
What were some of the, do you remember some of the Hungarian dishes?
Sure, I remember them all. There was, what's that dish that you made for me that's pink?
Pink?
Yeah, sort of pink colored. It was a Hungarian dish.
Goulash.
What?
Goulash?
Goulash.
Oh, yeah.
That's why today I love goulash and soup. Because Grammy used to make that, and she could make them.
Grammy being
My mother.
your mother, yeah.
Yeah, she could make them without any recipe. She just made it up as she went along.
Well, I remember kluski,
Kluski,
which was kind of noodles and cabbage.
yes,
I remember stuffed cabbages.
yes.
And so you'd have goulash, and you liked all that?
I liked it all. It was really good.
Was there stuff your mom made that you did not like?
I think there probably was.
Apple stuff.
Did you like apples?
I got tired of apples because we ate apple pie, apple steak, apple pork. Well, we had apple trees that were, constantly dropping big apples on the ground, so we had to collect them and eat them because they were free.
A free food source.
Yeah, free food source. And so she used to put them in pies too, and we really liked those.
So there was some apple stuff that's good.
Yeah.
Your brothers and sisters, did you guys have nicknames for each other?
Yes.
Would you share them?
No.
Well, what about Gretchen?
Gretchen we called P. Yeah, sure, you can figure that. Why?
She had a little head? Or
No.
did she pee a lot?
She peed till she was 23.
Well, that's not unusual. I still pee.
Do you?
Do you mean like in her bed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. You gotta fill in the blanks
Well,
here.
you don't nickname somebody P if they don't pee in their bed.
How about Uncle Mo?
Temper.
How come?
Well, because he had a terrible temper. How come?
And what was yours?
Baby. I liked it. But one time I remember him chasing me home. He was really mad. He had a temper. And he was really mad, and he came roaring up to our front door, and it had a glass partition in the front of it. And wham, he broke with his fist. Didn't get cut or anything, but we both stood there and cried because we knew what Grampy would do when he saw what we did. Because Grampy couldn't fix broken glass or anything.
Do you remember what happened when Grampy came home?
He yelled at us.
You said your dad was tough.
Yes.
How did that? First of all, what did he do for a living? How did he provide for his family?
He was he chased slows. That was his job.
You got to tell us what that means.
That means that he worked for a finance company, personal finance company. And when people didn't pay their bill on time, he would go find them and make them pay. That was tough.
Is that like a loan shark?
Yes, it is a loan shark.
Okay. Now, how would he, like, so did he, how did he do that?
Well, he worked for a company called Household Finance Corporation. That's where he learned the trade.
Was it you go beat people up? Or
No,
Okay, well that's what
you
I,
yell at them. Pay the bill or I'm going to sell you out, he used to tell them. Sell you out meant I'm going to send the sheriff after you.
yeah,
I never did that.
okay. So he chased slows.
Yes.
All right, so tell us how was he tough or strict or?
Well, I just tell one story. Mo and I used to go to all the, he used to coach, my dad, Pete Haupt, used to coach baseball teams.
Your dad's name was Pete,
Nickname Pete.
but his real name was...
Elmer Herman.
I'm not checking facts. I'm just saying, how do you get Pete from Elmer?
That was a nickname. You don't have to have the same name as your given name for a nickname.
No, you don't.
You probably didn't know that. Wearing that hat, you probably never had a nickname.
I did. Seamus McCart. So Pete, your dad, coached you and your brother.
Yes. And we used to chase baseballs because they were expensive. And we used to chase them when they would get fouled off and go in the woods. And the sports announcer for the Pittsburgh Pirates was a guy named Bob Prince in a wealthy neighborhood. And he came up to my dad and said, "Your kids have been running out and stealing our balls." My dad said, "My sons wouldn't do that. Our pockets were like that. Bulging out from all the balls we had in our pockets." But that wasn't the story I was wanting to tell about being tough. But my dad was very protective of his team. And we were playing Elliott. And if you were from Bethel Park, you probably knew that Elliott was in the city somewhere. So we were in the city playing these guys, and this guy was, you sit in a sandlot ball, you're about from here to where the camera is, away from the players. And this guy was all over our first baseman, Fritz Cotton. For some reason, he was on Fritz's rear end and yelling at him and, telling him he couldn't field or couldn't hit or couldn't whatever. And so the game was over, and I can't remember if we won or lost. Probably lost because my dad was mad. And he went up to this guy, and he said to this guy, who I didn't know and he didn't know, he said, "Why don't you pick on somebody your own?" I guess he said age, because the guy was, he was wearing glasses. And this is a true story. And Mo and I were standing there, and the guy went like this. And my dad hit him right through the glasses. Sucker punched him right through the glasses.
So he was taking his glasses off to kind of get ready to maybe, I will deal with somebody my own age.
Yeah, you old fart. And that's a true story. And he knocked the guy down, jumped on him, and was pumping him. And Mo and I were saying, where did he grow up? It wasn't Bethel Park. We didn't do things like that.
Really?
I mean, it just scared us to see him pounding this guy.
Do you remember how old you were then? I mean, was that...
Yeah, I was still chasing balls, old enough to chase and find balls.
So, yeah, you weren't in high school.
No. Or I would have jumped on the guy too. I would have helped him. No, I wouldn't. We never fought like that. Just Mo and I fought like that.